Nigerian youth, we have a whole lot, like a whole lot is going on in our minds, a whole lot is going on around us. And then we need to be proactive, we need to act, we need to do a whole lot of things also. So, it's quite obvious that there has been some glaring changes. It's right before our face. And then you're wondering, like, okay, if things have changed like this in the world of work, in like previous years, what's the future? What does the future hold for us? If you want to consider how different things were like 2 decades ago, this was the point where email was still trying to establish itself as a primary means of business communication. And then when you say, I want to work from home, that's like, hey, your boss is not going to accept that. Like, who is going to agree for you to work at home? And then that's where we are right now. A whole lot of us are working from home, and then your bosses are even the ones calling you and saying, hello, can you work from home? You understand? Like, that's like great advancement. I know a whole lot of us are enjoying it, but if you have children and you have other things distracting you, it could be tough to do. But it's usually worth it. Let's fast forward right now. That is where we are. And Nigerians, we must follow the pace. Day in, day out, we hear a whole lot about data. We hear data this, data that. Data is evolving a whole lot of things. And then if you had asked someone in the 1990s what the future of work would have been or how today would be, I could just imagine what they would tell like this. Like the entire workplace that is right now. I doubt if we could be able to predict. I doubt if we could predict that this is where we're going to be right now. So are you already incorporating technology into your workspace? Are you putting a whole lot of like getting all the advancement into your workspace, or you're just there and letting the time pass you? While I was getting to do a bit of research for today's discussion, I saw certain projections till 2050, I mean, about the future of work. And I'm like, wow, are we still counting the stars? Like, where am I? Like, people are projecting into 2050 and I'm in 2020 and I'm still sleeping and saying lockdown. Excuse us. You get to work. You need to work. The job market is constantly changing, and then the changes are coming faster and faster. Today, it is very different from our grandparents' generation. The jobs your grandparents might have held so dear, they might not even be in demand right now. So just ask yourself, are you ready for the job market that is like coming up, probably even after this lockdown, or even already, like it's already happening? Are you prepared? What does this mean for 2020 or even 2050? We know the job market will change even faster as technology advances. Things will change. Some jobs in Nigeria will be like hot cake. Some jobs might not even exist. We might not be able to predict, but I feel there are ways we should get ready for it. You should ask yourself, how relevant am I to my current job? Or probably in a couple of years, how relevant will I even be to the entire workspace? Am I upgrading myself? Am I doing some updating? Digital transformation is impacting every aspect of career now and in the future. So in order for you to stay ahead, we must get ready for the jobs that don't even exist now. And that's why we're looking a whole lot around data. Yes, data. When you hear data analysis, some of us just think it's like mathematics way back in school, and it's like, oh, don't bring this. Yeah, I know. That's how I feel sometimes also. But my name is Amleha Ode, and joining me tonight is Udeme Udofia. So good to have you. Hi, good evening, Udeme.
Yeah, hi, Yomi. Good evening.
All right, so Deme is joining us from Lithuania, right? That's where he's joining us from. And he's a data scientist. He runs data runs. And so we are communicating with Deme via Facebook Live. That's where we're having him. That's platform we're hosting him on tonight on Trailblazers. And for the radio listeners, there's something to win, something so good to win. And you want to be part of this show till the end so that you take home. Should I tell them what you're going to win? It's an AirPod. That's what I put on my Instagram. So you're going to win an AirPod tonight. But it's not so easy to win on my show. You got to play some games before you get to win something tonight. But I promise it's going to be an easy one. So you got to win something tonight on the show. So stick around to the end of the show. It's still Trailblazers on 92.1 Vision FM. And we're looking at data and the future of work. How's the lockdown been for you guys, Demir? Or you guys are like, cool, everyone is going on with their normal business?
Well, the lockdown is a bit relaxed over here, and yeah, for the most part, and we've been moving out, we can actually like step out and do basic stuff. Most of the stores are open now, and we are free to move about. Yeah.
Great. All right, so let's get on with our conversation tonight. Data analysis. Like a whole lot of us get scared just hearing that terminology. Is like, hey, you want to give us some headache. But come on, break it down for us. Tell us something about data analysis that you know would be like an easy one for each and every one of us to understand. And like, what does it involve generally, data analysis?
All right. So actually, yeah, just like you've said, it's actually like a term that once most people hear, they're a little bit scared about it. But basically, what data analysis is the ability for you to derive insights from your data, from records that you have. That basically, in simple terms, what it means. So you have like a record of information, and then for you to just be able to get like insight from that information. That's basically it. In simple terms, I would say you have like a record of sales, people coming to your shop to buy things on Monday, Tuesday till Sunday. And then you can basically just go through the data, and then you notice that, oh, on Monday you have like more people compared to on Wednesday. So basically, that's what data analysis in a nutshell is about.
All right, so why the recent trend? You make it sound like a normal calculations, but why the recent trend? And then you keep hearing data analysis like one of those courses, one of those skills I must possess to get a job or something. So why the recent trend?
Actually, yeah. So we're moving. We're in the food industrial era, and this era is basically centered on data. And processing like data in like a very long while. Almost all our systems are generating data. Like even this chart we are having right now, we are generating some form of data. Data has a way of talking to individuals or businesses, getting to know exactly how they are doing more than what humans would see. So that's why the data buzz is really happening now, because there are a lot of things that we can easily achieve using data, right? Rather than just going blindly into stuff.
Okay, so what's the relationship between data and the workspace? I understand the entire getting to keep records and all of that. Or before we even go to the relationship between data and the workspace, Nigeria in general, we're always seeing like we don't generate enough data. Like that tide has been. It's like we don't keep records of a whole lot of things. So how would you get to access our Nigeria? I don't know if it's a mentality or if it's just that we're not following the trend.
Okay, so for the most part, some ministries, I would guess, I'm not so accurate in that, but
You're
some
ministries, sure, yeah, I get.
Yeah, they kind of have like data, right? But the data in its raw state cannot really be used. But then some don't really, have record of those data. Like if we look at the medical line now, like some hospitals actually have like huge data of like different patients and scan results. All of those things are like majorly data, but people don't see it like that anyways. So Nigeria is not totally backward, I would say, because there are lots of communities that are stepping into the gap to actually help get data working in the country, and there've been like a lot of progress with that. So yeah, so we have communities that are actually helping in doing the data gathering, like moving from place to place, trying to gather information. And yeah, so we are actually collecting data in Nigeria. It's just that it's not yet at the level that we expect it to be. Yeah.
What level are we expecting?
Well, we are expecting a level where
you could have CCTV cameras, or if Omi commits a crime, you could just find me somewhere by just mentioning my name, sliding a card, things like that.
Exactly. That's the goal. The goal is to be able to have a unified system where like probably you have to get your national ID. You don't have to fill the same form again to get like your driver's license, because we have like a central database where everybody's information is and it also helps in checkmating like most of the crimes and most of issues that would happen. Yeah, like even in this era of pandemic, like if we have that kind of centralized system, to be easier to track, and then to be able to find people that are like people that should be quarantined, people that should be isolated and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get all the way to the relationship between data and then the workplace. How do you get to relate it? Data in the workplace. You know, I put it up on my status and different platforms, and then someone was like, "Yeah, data really works." And then he was indicating his sector to be the healthcare sector. So how would you get to relate it?
Okay, so the good thing about data or data science as a whole, the entire field is it can basically work with any field, right?
Okay.
So, like, it's not a standalone field because almost all the fields generate data. Talking about banking and finance or like the health fields, like they actually generate data. So the main thing is actually making sense of the data you have, right?
Okay.
Knowing the kind of data you have and making sense of the data you have, right? So basically that's the cooperation between data and the workspace. So in everything we are doing, businesses are generating data, you're generating sales data, you're generating record of how many people visited your store, how many people bought
Mhm.
something. It's just that it's not that obvious. But then if we leverage on the data that we generate, then we can help businesses make informed decisions rather than, just going blindly into making decisions.
All right, so let's get all the way on the benefits of data analysis. Yeah, like you've already stated, helping businesses make informed decisions. So let's get headlong. Like, let's just hit it up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, can you come again? I didn't get
Yeah,
that.
okay. So I'm saying the benefits of data analysis. You've already gotten to mention that at least businesses could make great decisions. So let's go all the way and look at the benefits of data analysis and probably getting to translate this raw data we're already generating.
Yeah, so one of it is basically the goal is actually decision making, right?
Okay.
Helping you to make informed decisions in different areas. So in businesses, it could help you know how to, or the places you should market more, or the kind of product you should market to your customers, not just doing like a blind marketing. And you could actually get a feel of how your customers perceive your products, and you know what best suits this kind of customer, but it doesn't work with this kind of customer. And it also helps in making like human life totally better, because if you have like data of some kind of trends of diseases that are happening in particular locations, you can actually leverage on that data and try to, do like some form of prediction of what would likely happen. And then if that is already known, then you can start working on ways to, help in solving that particular problem. So in a nutshell, like data is actually used in making better decisions. So like maybe government wants to help in fighting like the poverty in the country. So if we have like data of people that are working and people that are not working, people that are in the rural area, if we have like all of those information, if it comes to, empowering people, like probably helping people out of poverty, if we have like that kind of data, you would know the place to go to, the exact place to go to. You have an idea of the population that are totally living beyond the minimum wage, and you can actually strategize on how you can come up with principles to help them rather than just, moving in blindly and trying to do something. Yeah. So there are
All right.
lots of benefits, but in all, it really helps in, making informed decisions about like even our lives. If you have data that is going to rain tomorrow, you probably know the kind of clothes you
Ah,
should
yes.
wear to work.
Yes.
So it's as simple as that. So it even comes down to like our basic life. Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm just a little bit bothered. Who should be involved in the main analysis of this data? Is it not supposed to be a profession on its own? Like, hello, must everyone come and be calculating data? Yeah, yes, I'm serious because like a whole when we look at all the online courses we need to do right now, it's more like following the trends. I've gotten to do programs on like 2020 skills, 2021 skills. Those things we really need in our CVs. People must get job, or you don't understand. There are lots of youths that are jobless. We need jobs. So like everyone needs to be up to the trend and stuff. So this data analysis thing, is it supposed to be a profession in its own, or like who should be involved in data analysis?
Okay, so the good thing is data analysis basically has like different aspects to it. So we have like the technical part, and then we also have like the domain expertise part. So
Okay.
what I mean is the technical part is where you leverage on, like the technical tools, the skills that is required to actually look through like your data, like things as easy as Microsoft Excel, right? To be able to use
Yeah.
Microsoft Excel to, do with your data. But then we also have like the domain part. So the domain part is what makes it quite interesting because you really do not have to step out to, how do I put it, like a data focused field in order for you to, do data analysis. You can basically stay in your domain and then just get the basis of the analysis and use it in your domain, because domain knowledge is really, really important in making any form of analysis. Because I cannot go into a domain that, I have nothing about. So I'm
Not
not
be
in
like
a
the common. It should not be common. It's not common for everyone, except you want to take it like a profession or something.
Yeah, except you really want to go deep. But something that it's something that you can actually jump on and get the basis to be able to use with your particular domain. It's just that once people mention data analysis, they look at it like it's something very big at the end.
It
Of
is
course, they
big,
are like,
Udeme. Don't say it because you're into it. I'm serious. It is big. I'm speaking with all sincerity. Whenever I hear you guys talking, don't worry. We'll come to all the jargons and all the statistical tools you guys get to use. You get Python, yeah. Just calm down. Take it easy on us first. We'll get there and then get to look at it. But data analysis, when we hear it, it sounds so complex. But I don't know why.
well, I think it's the way the picture has been painted. Yeah, it's complex because there's a lot of things you can do. Once you go deep, especially if you want to start talking about, doing like image recognition and stuff like that. But then at the very basic level, it's like using your Excel, getting data, putting into your Excel form, and then be able to draw charts and see the way the trends are. That's how simple it
And
is.
following this trend,
It's just simple.
all right. Okay, I think we had a little bit of an issue this way, trying to figure out what you were saying at that point. So we're just some minutes into the. We'll get all into the details, but just in case you have some questions to ask as regards data analysis rather, we still have our data scientist in the studio tonight on Trailblazers with us, and you might want to ask him all the questions. Ask him all the data questions. I might not be able to express your mind like on Instagram already. We still have those that join in from the Instagram platform, and then Genevieve. Genevieve says, yes, ma'am, it is really big. I agree, it is really big. All right, so we'll take a quick break here, and it should be a dancing break so that maybe we'll just get to ease our brains a bit and then come back and step into the jargons of data so that maybe we can be able to comprehend some more and understand it. We'll get to relate data more with the future of work. If you remember, some 2 weeks ago, we're getting to look at a whole lot of people that are losing their jobs over COVID-19, and everyone needs to upgrade, everyone needs to add some skills, get to add up a whole lot of things, and then ensure that you're ready. That post COVID-19, come on now, there will be a whole lot of jobs for us, the Nigerian youth. So we get to maximize all of those platforms, but we really need to be ready in order for us to maximize any single platform. So we'll be right back on this conversation. Get to join us right back again. All right, so you guys, it's time to dance right now. It's time to dance.
Yes.
It's time to dance.
Actually, so what link can people use to join? Because people are buzzing me that they can't join. Like,
all right, so they just need to send me a friend request. That's what I've been doing right now. I've been trying to. I can't add people on this conversation, so they just get to send me a friend request on Facebook. Can you just type my name for them, and then I've been accepting friend requests, yes, so they can join in. Sorry about that. All right,
okay.
thank you guys for joining in on this conversation. Sorry, Instagram, I'm really sorry. I hope you guys are actually following on this convo. I'm really sorry. Like, I wish I could stream on both platforms, but this one turned out to work better for me. So that's why I'm right here with them. And it's still with them. We still have you here in the studio with us. Hi, Facebook users. Thank you very much for joining. I really appreciate every single person that joined in. And please ask questions. Ask questions. This thing about data, we need to understand it so that when we keep our small market data, we'll be able to monetize it. All those little things we do. Our small hustle. Don't worry, very soon I'll bring something about hustle so that I will get to advertise our hustles right on the platforms. But let's get to ask questions. Ask them questions, please. That is why he is here tonight. So get asking questions about data. All right, so data science is what will drive the future of work. That's what Uzaire is saying. Okay, so I'll get to share that thoughts when we get back live on the program tonight. All right, so we should be going back very soon. Joe Boys, nobody's playing with DJ Neptune and Mr. Easy. You guys are supposed to dance. No one is dancing. Like I should be seeing some dancing emojis or something. All right, so we'll go back live. You want to tag someone in Abuja to come win the airpod? Okay, I'm not going to show you the airpod. But you need to tag someone in Abuja to come win the airpod. The airpod is going to be won via the radio platform. Yep. That's where we're going to win it. All right, so time for us to go back. Are we ready to go back? Yeah, Genevieve is dancing this way. All right, thank you so much for joining us right back tonight on Trailblazers. My name is Omleha Ode, and we're looking at data and the future of work. So platforms are open, so you get to drop your comments on Instagram or on Facebook. You could drop your comments on any of those platforms below the chat, below the video on Facebook Live. Get to drop your comments right there. So if you want to join the conversation via the video platform, the name is Omileha Ode, Omileha. Omileha. If you type that, you see an OD to it, so you just get to add up. If you send a friend request right now, I'll definitely get to accept it so that you could be part of the video on the Facebook platform. And also for the Instagram, I'm getting the comment already. And then Uzaire is saying that data science. Okay, let me get that comment right now. Okay, data science is what will drive the future of work. So definitely, I part of this conversation and get to ask our resource person rather, loads and loads of questions. Ask him questions. What don't you understand about data science? What don't you understand about data analysis? Do you know how to use that Excel platform, or you want to take some Excel lessons, right? And you definitely get to pay for it though. But you could get to ask some questions, and if we can address it, we'll definitely address it on the platform tonight. So let's get on with our conversation. Hopefully our resource person will join us right back on the platform so that we could still get our contributions and also get to relate more and discuss more about data, and then look at all the jargons associated with data analysis. But just a reminder for the radio audience, towards the end of the game, we get to play, towards the end of the show rather. Oh, I'm so after the game. Like towards the end of the show, we get to play some games, and then hopefully get to win something on the show today. I just need one winner and I'm fine. But in the end, I hope we'll get to understand something about data analysis before we leave this program tonight. All right, so Deme, thank you very much for joining us right back again. So we're still discussing data and the future of work. Can I learn data? Can I learn data from home? Data analysis, can I learn it from home? Or I need to maybe enroll in a school or something?
Yeah, basically, I think in the world today, you can basically learn anything from home, from the comfort of your home. Just have like good internet connection and have like a good working PC. And then, yeah, boom, you're good to go. I mean, with YouTube, you can actually learn like anything right now.
Great.
So data science or data analytics is not an exception to that. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe might need to take a bit of consistency and then more practice or something, because, not everyone is very smart with catching up with a whole lot.
Yeah, learning at home is like one of it. I mean, there's a possibility that you can learn at home, and most of the time you still need to do like a lot of things all by yourself. However, it's also very important that you have a community, because you don't just want to give up. Yeah, like you have like a group of like-minded people that are basically like learning the same thing that you're learning or are interested in doing the data science thing, and you all can learn together. I mean, the whole point is to have like support system where everybody's encouraging everybody. And I think we have like a couple of communities in Nigeria, of which I'm very proud to be part of, because that's what really helped the science progress. So yeah.
All right, so let's get to look at the unemployment rate in Nigeria. That one is like another matter on its own. No, I probably, maybe that's why you ran away from this country, right? You don't want to tell us. All right, so youths are currently bothered about this unemployment rate, and yet we hear of greater unemployment rate ahead. How do we keep up? Like in your thoughts, though,
Yeah.
how do we stop here?
Well, I mean, I can't really say much about the unemployment in Nigeria because I'm not like in the government, or I can't really say much about it. But
Oh,
the
you're in
way we can,
irrespective. Yes, you are a Nigerian youth.
yeah, I am actually, but I mean, I don't know how the government is trying to make that happen. But from my own perspective, I would say that every Nigerian, you should try to position himself or herself like strategically, because like in data science, there are a lot of opportunities. And
Okay.
even as at today, the demand for data scientists have actually exceeded the supply. So it's one field that you can actually learn at the comfort of your home,
I
and you
like
can
that. You
start
said
doing
demand
basic
has
stuff,
exceeded the
and you
supply
can
of data
become
analysis.
employable.
Oh, that's great. I like that aspect of demand exceeding supply of something. So maybe it's more like we need to build the capacity to be able to fit in.
Exactly, yeah.
All
That's
right.
what's basically needed.
Okay, that's great. All right, so let's look at the essential tools for handling big data. Yeah, it's like I said, I don't know if it's at this point we get into all those complicated things we keep hearing about data. Maybe all those Python, Excel, Microsoft, is it BI? How do we get to, before we even get to use them to visualize data, let's just get to look at them generally, those tools.
Okay, yeah. So there are different aspects to data or data science totally. So people actually look at the end product, which is, I mean, quite cool. But there are like different aspects. There's an aspect where you get the data, where you get the kind of data you want to be able to solve the problem you want to solve. And then there's a point where you try to make the data in a format that you can actually use to solve the problems. Because data in its raw state cannot be used directly. So it needs to go through some kind of transformation for it to be used. And then after that, there's a part where you actually analyze, look through the data, and then come up with insight. And then there's another part where you start making like predictions to start making sense out of the data. All right, so there are different aspects to it. So like the aspect of collection, you get to know how to work with like databases, or like syncing social media data to whatever platform you want to use. So you might need to learn about working with databases, and yeah, most particularly databases and every other data source. Anything that can serve as a data source is also very important that you take note of. Then once you're done with that, there's like an engineering part too, which is where you try to transform your data into, save it into a place where, I mean, it can be used, it can be reachable for the scientists, for the analyst, and it's also in a format where it can be easily used. Now, this other part is where you leverage on, you still need to know like a lot of database management skills, because basically that's what you'll be working with. So you need to know how to do like a lot of data pipelines. I'm trying to stay away from using
The jargon, right?
buzzwords, but
Please bring it on.
yeah,
When you
so
bring it on, you break it down. You understand? Like you're not going to make us feel funny tonight. So when you bring the words, break it down for us. Like every word has an explanation. If you probably need me to open up a dictionary, why not? We get the meanings.
okay, so yeah. Anyways, just to be sure that everybody's following, that's why I'm trying to stay away from the buzzwords,
Okay,
so
great.
people don't lose it. Yeah. So, but the point is, you need to get skills that will help you arrange like the data, like have like a free flow of data, because most of the time you don't just get the data at once and then you start working on it. Sometimes you need like a continuous cycle, like what we call like a data pipeline, where you
Okay.
get your data and then you transform the data into a format that you can easily use, and then you store it somewhere that it can be accessed for analysis. So you need to understand how that flows from data collection to the point where you save it. Like it's like ETL process, like extract, transform, and load the data somewhere. So you need to understand like that process, which is just part of it. And then you also need to understand how to analyze the data. So analyzing the data, this is where we talk of, business tools like BI tools like Power BI, like you earlier mentioned, Tableau. So you can basically use this to analyze and visualize
Yeah.
your data. So analyze data is just looking through your data and then trying to get like insight. So what's like the unique thing? So you ask your data all the possible questions. So like I said earlier on, maybe you have like a sales data from Monday to Sunday. So you want to know like which day should I expect to have a boom? So which day do I expect to have like more people
More
working
skills,
rather than
customers,
having
yeah.
like a lot of people working? So you need to know when maybe you're having like high flow of customers so that you can know when you can bring in like lots of hands to support. So you just look through your data just to be able to get answers to possible questions that you might have before you start looking into the data, or the questions that you might find while you're looking at the data. Because you can look at the data and then you just discover, oh, wow, so we are having like a lot of sales on Sunday, and Sunday is the day we thought that we wouldn't have much sales. So we kind of put only one person. So maybe we should start having like 3 people, just to help make informed business decisions. So you actually analyze the data. So from the analysis, you can actually go to a point where when people think of data, that's the point they actually talk of, when you can now start doing some form of prediction where you can leverage on like statistical models or start building like machine learning models that can predict what will happen. Okay, so with this history of data, I can actually tell what will happen sometime in the future. Like the estimates that we are having that by so year, this is likely to happen. It's just that kind of process. So you have like the history of data, you've seen the trend. So
You
you
use
now
data
can probably like,
to draw profit. That's great. That's great.
yeah.
Like you're
So you
using
can
data
now,
to do forecast and all of that. That's
yeah.
interesting. All
So
right. So, when we talk about this data analysis, this entire thing, I'm just a bit bothered though about back in universities, we always had a section. I don't know if it was the chapter 4 or thereabout of our project works, and then you get to see data analysis. Like, excuse me, do you mean we're not generating data? We give out questionnaires, like we did it all on. So we did say we're not
yeah,
generating data, or probably we're on the surface of it. Like, because I think we've been generating data all the while.
yeah. I mean, like, yeah, everybody in some way, we're all generating data, right? Like in some way.
Yeah.
Like if you
Yeah.
ask me a question now, you're actually generating some form of data from me,
Data, yes.
right?
Mm.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, there are some problems that you want to solve. Actually, the data you get is based on the kind of problem you're trying to solve. So if you're
Okay.
trying to solve transportation problem in Nigeria, you need to
Yes.
start thinking of the kind of data that you would need. And it might be like you need data about transportation, how do vehicles move, which direction do they move to mostly? In the morning, where do all the vehicles go? At night, where do they go? So you might need
And
to
then
start
bad
getting this
roads
information.
also
And
might also be part of that data. Yeah. Please go on.
yeah, so and it might be something that is not there at all. So that's where you now need to go and start getting the data. So when we say like Nigeria is not doing much, or we don't have like a data bank where we can actually like get data and then start solving problems, because we don't have that process where we can actually like say, okay, so in this ministry, if we go to the ministry of whatever, we can actually find data that answers to this, and then you can just jump on it and start solving a problem. So in the most part, for every problem you want to do, you need to start generating the data yourself. And data generation is like really a huge task, because you need to generate data over time for you to be able to make the most appropriate decisions, or for you to be able to get the main insight from it. You can't just get data of a day and then you now start making like the best decisions. No, you need to get data over time, because the larger the data you have, the more accurate your decision would be. So that's why
Okay.
data is very important. And data generation is like unending. It's something that you keep doing, because the data of 10 years ago might not be relevant today, because there are some jobs that existed 10 years ago that are no longer here today, like the job
Yeah.
of a typist, you know, things like that. So you need to keep refreshing the data you're generating, and then from there, you just keep making progress. Yeah.
All right. All right. So, a question from the Instagram platform. Genevieve is asking, and then she's like, "Okay, that's like she heard it somewhere. She read it somewhere thereabouts." And then the question is basically for someone that does not like mathematics, or probably never really liked mathematics, how can that kind of a person become a
Yeah.
data analyst? And I'm asking for myself also. Like, how can you just be a data analyst? How do you get to pull through? I understand, generally every day in life they say we're doing a bit of calculation. I agree, but calculation has levels. So for someone that carried the F9s in mathematics, or probably E8s, how do they become data analysts?
Yes, so math is actually one of like the very important part of data science,
Mm,
right? Because it helps you understand what you're doing. However, I know like a lot of data scientists that really do not pay attention. Like the point is you can actually do it without the maths, like a proper
okay.
understanding of the maths. But a proper understanding of the maths will make it work. Now, the math is something that you might even learn on the job. It's not like you need to be up in your math skills, and it's not like engineering maths per se, at least for the very basic part of data analysis. It's just like your linear algebra, like your y equals to mx plus c, like a straight line graph kind of math, like the very basic part of linear algebra. You can actually
Okay.
make use of that because it's the same principle. It's just that if you want to go deep into it, then it might get a little bit complex. And also, if you're looking at going into the academia and not necessarily the industry part, then you might need to learn more about the maths, because that's where you would really need to apply like the maths. But for the industry part, for the most time, you might not really use the maths per se, because there have been lots of libraries that have actually done the math at the background. So all you just need to do is just to call it up, and then boom, you go. So the math should not be like the scary part. It's something that can be learned on the way. However, you can still do a lot of things with it. You just need to have like an overall understanding of how it works, and because there are already tools that can help you do that.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I like the fact you said there are tools. And then I'm just thinking for someone, my that I'm seated here right here thinking for everyone and then asking you all the questions. Just in case, like, is there a shortcut to this thing? Like maybe in that Nigerian mindset though. Like, is there a way to kind of probably not like an obvious shortcut, but probably are there like some really easy tools that can help a common man? Like, I need to keep track of my data. I'm like a market woman. I need to keep track of my data. I need to understand, like, bring it all the way to the layman term. Do I need to necessarily get the Microsoft Excel sheets? Do I need to use all the other complicated terms and all?
Well, if you have like a very small store, and you
Mm,
connect, maybe you have like a notebook and you can write down all your sales in a notebook, and you understand how it works, and it's not that huge. It's something
okay.
you can see, and okay, on Sunday I sold this, and on Tuesday I sold this, like straight away. Like you can see it and you can understand it, and you can make sense of it. Then at that stage, if you there might not be any need for you to jump on those tools. But if your data start getting huge, your eyes alone will not be enough, right? So, I mean, you will not be able to see anything. Like if you have like data of like 6 months and you're selling every single day, and you want to understand how your business have been so far, it might be hard for you to try to analyze it using your hand. It's possible, but it's just going to take you more effort and, more time. And you might actually come up with assumptions that are not even right.
Yeah.
So, but leveraging on tools like this point, just leveraging on like Excel, and in one graph, you can actually see how well you're doing without actually like stressing yourself. So if your business is a small one that you can easily manage with just a small cash book and everything, it's fine. Why not go ahead? It's the same principle. You're just trying to get insight from the data, right? It's the
Okay.
same principle. But if your business is large enough that, I mean, you can't really like go through it using your eye just at once, then you need to leverage on, some other tools to be able to get the adequate insights you want.
All right, so we still have another question here for you, and then more like one biggest challenge one will likely face in the journey of becoming a data scientist. Probably want to tell us what's been the
Um,
biggest challenge for you, or maybe, or if you've had an experience or people have shared with you, like, hey, this particular part gets a whole lot complicated for me, so maybe you might want to share with us.
yeah, so for me, I would say that being a data scientist, well, you'll be opportune, especially if you're working in some way that you deal with different clients and you're trying to like solve problems for the different clients. The main thing for me personally is basically not on the technical part, but it is on the domain knowledge part, right? Because I studied engineering in school, and
That's why
then
you're
just
doing
assume I have
engineering thing and you have all the mind for it. I get. So how about for someone that studied, I don't know what course to call, because it might shock you that some people that studied certain, that had certain disciplines might even be very amazing in calculations. But just in case you want to call in on the program tonight, you could get to call in. Please call 080-911-27352. If you want to call in tonight, 080-911-27352. Get to pause us at any point before we wrap it up and ask that question. Ask us that question. The mayor will get to address that question. We're still looking at data and the future of work, but first of all, data is like a whole lot complex. We're trying to break it down first so that we can now get to bring it into the sectors of the workplace. All right, so 080-911-27352. To call that number, ask a question or get to contribute as regards data and then the future of work. Or still get to drop your comment on Facebook or on Instagram at Omile Haride. That's the platform for you to drop your comments tonight. All right, so get on, tell us the challenges so we get to proceed with other aspects of this conversation. Thank you.
Yeah, so for me, the challenge that I've mostly faced is the domain knowledge, right? So I'm coming from a particular domain, engineering, right? So I might have like the technical skill to get the job done. However, if I have a new problem, let's say if we're trying to fix a problem for the medical field, I need to have an understanding of, I mean, the kind of problem they are having. And it might need me to have like study a lot more on the problem. If it has to do with like a particular disease, how does this disease work, what are the symptoms, what are the traces, and stuff like that. And that's totally out of my field, but I need to be able to leverage on that domain knowledge so I can have like a proper answer, or I can have like a proper algorithm to come up. It's not just about putting the data into whatever tool that I have and then trying to get insight from it. I also have to have an understanding of the problem. I need to have an understanding of the domain before I can now, start doing like a proper analysis. And that's the main reason why I keep saying that data is quite flexible and it's nice. You don't need to step out of your domain because you already have like the domain knowledge. So you're the best person that would
That
know
can run your
how
data.
that business is. Exactly. So you can just add the technical part to the domain knowledge you already have, and boom, you just move. Yeah.
Okay, more like, so data can actually function in every sector, irrespective, because I would have also wanted to highlight some relevance of data analysis in specific industries, but more like, okay, if I understand the knowledge of broadcast, for instance, then I can also get to have my data, I get to keep tabs of the things I do, the things other people are doing, and then get to work it out and see how to get more clients and stuff like that, right?
Exactly.
All right. All right. So, but generally, how would you say youth should better position themselves or best position themselves now to get to maximize the gains in relation to data and jobs? Jobs are very important.
Okay, so basically, I would start by saying just so data is here to stay. So it's going to be like quite interesting for you to have a skill, because I think in a very short time, those skills will be demanded. Like at least you need to have like a little bit of the basics of analysis. So knowing that, then I think you just need to know how to do like basic analysis, like even starting from your Excel, like Microsoft Excel or any form of spreadsheet is like a powerful tool. that you can actually use to do like a lot of analysis. I mean, let's drop like the Python or the other, tools that people
Name it, name
use,
it. Let me hear it. Yeah.
Microsoft Excel. Not like people leverage on Power BI, Microsoft Power BI. People use Python language.
Yeah.
People work with R. People are even working with
Mm.
JavaScript still in the field of
Yeah.
science and stuff like that. But then you can use my
In
Excel and you
language.
can do
Yeah.
that. You would just knowing how to play around Excel. And Excel is something, it's a tool that almost all of us in one way or the other we've used, but probably just at the basic level. So you might
Mm.
want to increase your skills on how to use Excel because it's the same principle. It's just that you're now going to transfer some things into like code and try to see how it works. And it might just get to another level of complexity, but the base is still the same. So yes, I would say, I mean, get to learn like your Excel, be comfortable in the basic analysis, just so you understand that you have the concept or you have an idea, the knowledge of the concept. Then you can move into choosing like any programming language that you would want to use as a tool, because that's not like the main thing, it's just a tool to solve the problem. So yeah.
Okay, so what advice do you have for youths as regards, okay, zero knowledge of data analysis? Yeah, it's becoming a trend. I need to step up my game. Yeah, what advice do you have for youths?
Well, if the only reason why you would want to go into data analysis or data science is because it's the main thing happening, then I don't think it would be for you, or you should even start it, right? So, I mean, don't just jump into it because it's the boss thing that everybody's doing. There are other things that are actually like very, you know, happening in our day, like talking about Internet of Things, networking, security. There
Yeah.
are loads of other things happening. Yeah. Even like normal front end development, it's also like something that is still happening and it won't go away. So if your first drive is you just want to jump in because everybody's talking about it, then I think that might be very wrong. So you should actually look back. But if you really want to go into it, then I would just advise, like I'd always say, so try to look at the entire, because there are different fields in it in data science. There are different parts of it. You can just be like a visualization expert or like a business
Who is the
intelligence expert.
visualization expert? Like, okay, let's go on with the fields before we wrap it up. Let's go on with the fields. Probably it could just be a form of job creation you're going to do for someone tonight. All right, so let's go on with the different fields and then a bit of a breakdown. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just going to mention them at the very basic level. So we have like a visualization or data visualization expert. This is somebody who specifies in just ensuring that he can communicate the insight from the data using charts.
Okay.
Like he can communicate it in the way that anybody can see and understand. He's an expert in doing like the visualization thing, right?
Yeah.
And then we have like the data analysts. These are people that actually look through the data and then try to get like insights from the data. Now most of these fields are actually working hand in hand, and some of them might cut across each other. So data analysts basically look through your data. They are the ones that basically get the insights from the data. And then we now have like the data scientist, which is like the one everybody really wants to be like the cool kids, right? Maybe because it sounds sweet. But
It sounds
so the
sweet, yeah.
data
Like
science
you're feeling good about it. You're already beginning to raise some shoulders. So come on now. We need to be data scientists. All right, so yeah, please go on.
yes, data scientists actually do like a bit of everything. The data
Okay.
scientist does a bit of the data engineering part where you try to clean your data, the analysis part where you try to analyze your data, and then the machine learning engineers part where you try to like build models to either do like predictions or like prescriptions based on your data, and they also try to communicate the result they get. And that's where they also leverage on the skills of like a visualization expert, so they can give like the proper visuals to communicate the insight they've gotten from the data. So that's
Okay.
like on the data scientist part. It does a bit of everything. And then we
Everything.
have like the data engineering part, where his own work basically is to get the data, transform the data, and put it in a format that can be used for analysis and loads it into a database. So he doesn't do like analysis on it. He's the one that controls the flow of data right from the collection
Technical.
part to where
Yeah.
it's loaded for the analyst and the scientist to take it from there and do their analysis. Then we also have like the machine learning engineers. This is something very common. Like every other person, people also want to be like, I want to be like a machine learning engineer. I want to be building models that will do stuff and stuff. So the machine learning engineer actually gets data and then tries to build like data models or models that can actually predict or detect something. So you're trying to identify a pen, and so the data engineer has gathered data on like different kind of pens, and it's been loaded into a database. So the machine learning engineer just goes to the database, picks all the images of pens, trains a model to be able to recognize what a pen is. So once it does that and then just saves the, if you point a picture of a pen to the model it trained, the model should be able to say, oh, this is a pen.
Yeah.
So basically that's what like the machine learning does. And then still in the machine learning engineering path, some people are known as deep learning engineers. These are the ones that actually do like they go deeper into like the machine learning part, talking about like image detection, working on like sound, and not basically on like tabular data. Yeah.
Okay.
So at the very basic, these are like different fields of specialty still in the the data science world. And yeah, you can actually jump on that. Everybody must not be a scientist.
Okay, thank you. I think that's a bit of a relief for even myself. Everybody must not be a scientist. Maybe I could just be a visualizer of data, like we see data. All right. Okay. So it depends on what works for you, but I think in the big picture is to figure out what will work for you as a person, and then keeping records turns out to be great. But maximizing on those records also, not just keeping. I think that's the big thing. That's everything about data. Getting to maximize on this record you're keeping so that you can get to influence decision. Like you're being on Facebook right now, so they are monitoring all the data you put right there. They're also getting to monitor the kind of content you post, the things you like, and then those are the kind of advertisement that will bring your way. So it's all about data in the long run, and then they are getting their profit also on you. Don't worry, I'll get to bring a conversation about digital marketing for us one of these days on Trailblazers. So we're youth and we need to maximize every platform. Like my brain is like, hey, we need to do this, we need to do that, and all. All right, so thank you very much, Demel Duffy. I really appreciate you coming on Trailblazers tonight.
Thank you.
All right, so okay, in Lithuania, you're Achu. That's how you say thank you over there, right?
Exactly. Yeah, true.
Right. So really appreciate you. Thank you very much. All right, so we get on back and then we get to